Excited to hear from Travis Waits. He's a leadership expert, strategist, and has been down the road of leadership and overcoming incredible challenges. He's got his master's in counseling. He understands coaching and the psychology of people. And real excited to hear from you a little bit about leadership. I mean, leadership's a hot topic today. I mean, it's always been a hot topic because everybody's in one way or another either a leader or being influenced by one, or and everybody has influence, so there's an element of leadership in everybody. But at the same time, right now in our culture, in our economy, in our world, there's starting to be a distrust for leadership. It almost feels like, I mean, you hear it, that it's getting worse out there. And what's happening?
Well, why wouldn't you distrust leadership? I mean, you read the news, you see 70% of the workforce is disengaged. Why would they follow someone who's abrasive, who's abrupt, who doesn't, they maybe delegate, but they don't empower? They're standoffish. They just order people around. They almost have this like robotic, I'm better than you because I've made this position, I've climbed up the ladder feel. So that's not relatable to the employee. But, really, leadership is very tough. It is isolating at the top. We can't just fault someone who's just as human as you and I for becoming abrasive or closed off.
What are some of those challenges? I mean, what are leaders facing today?
I think they're facing a lot of misperceived expectations. I mean, think about your first job. When you walked into the owner, to the CEO, you thought your first day in the company floor, you thought he had it all together, right? He had a corner office, he was making 7 figures, yada yada, whatever it looks like. And so your perception of him was like, wow, that person's got it. I want that someday. But that's pretty isolating when every move you make is under this magnifying glass. Not just professional, but also personal. Who you hang out with, what you do through the weekend, what your recreational activities are, where your kids go to school, what kind of car you drive, how you drive on the way to work or whatnot. I mean, all that's under scrutiny. So incredibly isolating nowadays for leaders. So very few actually, I would say, cater to or maintain their, hey, I'm just as human as you part. And so they start having this really callous mask.
Mm.
And it's not a mask because I'm out to get you. It's really a mask to survive.
Mm.
They don't know, are their employees trying to get their job? Is some headhunter out there going to, that they deny because they want to stay where they're at? Are they going to create waves for them with their board? What does that look like? What's their security? Because there are so many professionals I interact with that, materialistically look like they're doing amazing. Big house, nice car, all that stuff. But they're not happy. They're depleted, they're exhausted, they struggle with anxiety, maybe they drink too much, whatever it is. But there's no escape for them. And a lot of that is self-induced.
So it's kind of like a hidden problem. I mean, maybe not. I mean, what would you say to that?
I would say both hands.
Yeah.
It actually, it is one of those hidden things that we don't see a lot of press about it until one of our leaders blows up, whether it's a politician or whether it's, the CEO of a major corporation. We don't see the process, the journey to get to that point.
So are you making excuses for them, or is that just a natural process of leadership? Because I mean, it's pretty common today. Or what do they need to do, or what's happening?
There really needs to be this leadership survival guide, and that's part of what we do actually, is help develop that, because no one ever takes that course as part of their MBA. They didn't go to entrepreneur school to learn how to survive the board. They usually went through the school of hard knocks and things got abrasive and they had to adapt to survive that. So yeah, we sensationalize and make fun of them when they blow up, and it's not all on them. Yes, they can do some things differently, but they really need that, lack of a better term, this will sound weak, it really isn't, but they need that safe space just to learn how to be themselves again, where they can let their hair down. I mean, so many of them are only in groups with other CEOs. Why is that? Because they don't feel any affinity to anyone else, because no one else gets it. But that's how we reinforce this really divide between the exec and the employee. And that's wrong, because we're on level footing when it comes to our humanity.
Employees more than ever, people more than ever, want to be respected as the individuals they are. And they seem to demand that. So that old hierarchy is kind of dissolving, at least in the eyes of people, and what they want.
And I found actually that the leader themselves doesn't want just reports that salute them. It doesn't work. They really want influence, and that's, as you know, what leadership is all about. Being able to draw out from others, from your influence, that direction, that vision, holding that, empowering others, not just telling people what to do. That just disempowers and also distances relationship. So if you just tell me what to do, yeah, I can do it. I can jump through the hoop, but my heart's not in it. And until we can engage in that way, from a very holistic perspective, we're going to be stunted. And we're going to keep maintaining the same wheel. We're going to hear it next week in the news again, some leader that blew up his life and because of X, Y, and Z, but we're not going to see all the behind the scenes, all the incremental choices that person made to get there.
So leaders need to be proactive then?
Absolutely. That's the only way. It's not adapt and survive, it's really be proactive and survive. That's a skill that needs to be experientially learned. It's not a class that you can take. You know, I have a lot of skills and processes that people can go through. Sure, you can read the book or go through, the online course or whatever, but that's not going to help you. You got to actually experience that and live it out. And so that's part of what I help people do.
It's amazing. Well, thank you, Travis. Great. Thanks for sharing.
Thanks.
Yeah.